next to you, Starstruck. And Adrienette's famous and apartment neighbors AU, Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction, Chapter 2. Oh my god, Marinette says. She's frozen in shock, hands up and eyes widened. This was not how she was expecting her day to turn out like. I'm so sorry, Adrien blubbers, reaching towards her. Marinette shoos his hands away. She attempts to get her breathing under control because Adrien Agreste, of all people, is her new neighbor. Truly, the fact that Mr.Cat was really this movie star and model was like being doused with ice water on a hot summer's day. It was shocking and confusing, but it did make the slightest bit of sense. When they met, he didn't introduce himself or even give her a fake name. He always had big sunglasses on and a scarf covering most of his face. The big jackets and coats must have been another way to disguise himself. It did make sense now that she thought about it, him being famous. But it was still a major surprise. Especially because of all the famous people that stay, come, and go from Paris. Adrien is the last one she'd expect to move here, in this apartment building. I'm fine. I'm just processing, Marinette tells him. Adrien nods but looks frenzied. Okay, Marinette breathes. How are you even here? She asks. Adrien gives her a small smile. I kind of threw a tantrum, he admits through reddened cheeks. Marinette's eyes get wider, if that was somehow possible even. You what? She cries out. How old was this man? 20-some, and he threw a tantrum. Adrien scratches his neck, embarrassed, and turns away slightly. I got mad at my father, he says with a slight laugh. We don't see eye to eye on a lot of topics, and I usually keep my mouth shut, but a month ago, he's talking endlessly about it, and I got annoyed and sick with it. We ended up having a massive argument, and I basically stormed out of the house. I looked online and found the first apartment that could fit my criteria, and here I am, Adrien explains. He shakes his hands in mock jazz hands, awkwardly smiling. It's all a bit silly, I know, he sighs. I've never rebelled before, but I was just so sick of it. My father, work, and modeling, everything around me, really. So I left. A totally reckless idea, but I'm kind of glad I did so. I feel so free, if that makes any sense. I know it's weird, he admits. Marinette blinks at him. For a lifelong celebrity, Adrien did not have a good concept of how not to overshare. She wonders if that was the reason he never did many interviews. His father perhaps thought it would be bad press. She doesn't totally blame him. Oh, Marinette blinks. That makes sense, I think, she says. Adrien shrugs sheepishly. Yeah, now I'm just trying to learn how to do all the everyday normal stuff. Do you know how to do laundry? I tried looking online, but I'm a little confused, Adrien asks. Marinette can't help but laugh a little. Laundry. Adrien Agreste, of all people, is asking her about laundry and how to do it. Her life is now officially a comedy movie. Probably top of the charts, with great box office revenue, too. Yeah, I do, she says with a smile. Here, come with me. If her house hadn't looked so clean and tidy. She definitely wouldn't have offered to show him. However, her house still looked neat from the move, and Marinette knows that she wants to show it off. She shows him how to do the laundry. It's an unexpected change in her day and life, really, but Adrien listens well and doesn't seem to want to actually waste her time. He acts like he's studying in a class, listening intently and asking genuine questions. Marinette now knows how her old home ed teacher felt when teaching a quarter of the grade how to wash dishes for the first time. At times she had to stop her own giggles. Everything was it was so funny. It was hilarious, really. Alia would certainly get a kick out of it. "Thank you, Marinette," Adrien says with a big smile. Marinette nods. "Of course, happy to help," she says pleasantly. "By the way, I'm not going to tell any reporters or anything. I think you're going to have enough problems with them. You don't need any more on your tail," she promises him. "I'll keep this," she waves her arms around frantically, "under wraps. Promise, I promise." Adrien sends her a grateful look. "You are a gift from the gods," he professes. Marinette blushes. "I think you've already said that," she says with a nervous laugh. Adrien nods. "It's true, and thank you." He walks back to the door. The camera and paparazzis are all gone, giving him enough time to escape back to his own apartment. "Well, it is nice to meet you. Officially, that is," Adrien says with a smile. "You too," Marinette replies kindly. Right as Adrien is about to step out, his phone rings loudly, and he reaches into the pocket and retrieves it. His blonde eyebrows narrows as he reads or looks at something on his phone. Perhaps it was an angry text from his father or a publicist. It wouldn't shock her to hear that he had one, especially if he had just quit the company so impulsively. I think you want to come see this," Adrien says. He motions for Marinette to look at his phone. She does, and then gasps at the screen. "I was really hoping we could avoid this," he mutters. "Wearing a dress with a ladybug. Rather cute, don't you think?" I sure do, and we can only guess that Adrienette does too. Though nothing is confirmed yet, we can only assume that this young woman is the girl that Adrien left the company for. She must really be something special, if he'd give up his entire life and career for her. Her hair, though blurred, is clearly a very dark blackish blue. Her face is mostly concealed by Adrien himself. It's certainly smart on his part. I can happily announce to you that Adrienette is a real knight in shining armor, protecting the identity of his little lover. Since this picture was taken, photographers have been requested to stay out of the building, and unfortunately there is no other news. Don't you all fret though. We'll get the rest of the scoop on Adrien and his new little play toy. And Adrienette, do call us for an interview. We'd love to have you." Marinette's fists balled up in fury. She already disliked this Lila Rossi, nosy, lying reporter of celebrity gossip. This only stoked the flame. She's known that Adrienette is her neighbor for barely an hour, and already people think they're dating, and that she is the reason he left the company. God, things were already turning into a mess. "I despise her," Marinette spat out. Adrien gave her a wire grin. "Me too," he sighs. "Me too. No doubt he's had to deal with her before in the past." She feels a wave of remorse for him. She sighs. "What on earth are we gonna do?" she asks him. He gives her a nervous look. Honestly, I have no idea, he admits. Marinette takes in a breath. He looks at her with an apologetic smile. I'm so sorry for getting you into this. Marinette shrugs. It's okay, it's okay. It's happened and it's over and there's no going back, she says. Adrienne's face still looks pained. Yeah, but I feel bad. You definitely didn't sign up for reporters or cameras when you signed the lease, he points out. Marinette swipes at her forehead. Well, yes, this is certainly... She looks around herself and then back at him. It's shocking how quickly her reality had just changed, and how easily and calmly she had adjusted to it. This is not planned or even in my head when I thought about moving here, but again, it's happened already and there's no amount of moping about or around that's going to make it go away, she winces. As much as that would be nice, she adds on in a mutter. Adrienne nods. Yeah, he shrugs off and turns towards the door again. Again, I'm really sorry this all happened, but I'll find a way to get it cleared up soon. We can work together to do it, he offers. Marinette wants to shake her head and say no. It would be the smart thing to do, probably. After all, they didn't need any more exposure or pictures or rumors about them spending time or even interacting with each other. It would all be a risk because that is her life now. But the look he was giving her kept her from saying no. That would be a bad idea. Adrienne, the way he was looking at her, it looked like he really wanted to figure out this mess with her. They had just met. It wasn't like he was totally emotionally attached to her, but it seemed more like he just didn't want to go about it by himself. Marinette bit her lip. She knew a bit about him. Most every teenage girl in Paris and Europe did. He was a nice person. That was for sure. Everyone knew that. But he was clearly very lonely. His father was stoic to the media and apparently to his own son. Adrienne's oversharing told her that he was all by himself and perhaps had had just enough loneliness for one life. Sure, Marinette says decidedly. Her smile is blown to the side by the brightness of his. If she was a photographer, she'd snap a picture right away. The smile looks brighter than any of the other press photos she'd ever seen of him. Give me your phone. I'll put my number in it. Great. He hands her his phone. For a second, it strikes Marinette that she is holding a very, very famous celebrity's phone and is now inputting her number in it. What a strange thing her life has become. There you go, she says with a flourish and grin. Adrienne leaves her apartment, but not without a smile and a wave. See you later, he calls with a fair amount of excitement. She feels like she's waving to a hyperactive toddler at the mall. Yep. After he leaves, Marinette takes a second to breathe. Oh dear Lord, her life was not going to be normal anymore. She had entered the world of the famous, whether she liked it or not.